Let me see what the pregame show will bring you tonight. So we'll talk about tonight's action. We'll set the scene for tonight's game as the Lily Rebels come in, having won their last match against Altamont 3-0. The Lily Rebels swept Altamont last Friday in the home opener for this side. And before that, the Rebels went 1-2 at Coachville, a tough tournament that the Rebels play at each year. And they played mostly much bigger schools. Lost against Evanston twice in that tournament. They beat Mountain View. Lost to Alta, who's one of the biggest schools in the state of Utah, and then they lost to Rollins as well on Saturday. And finished the tournament in the group bracket. They did not place one of the top 7 or 8 teams of the tournament, but going 1-4 over that weekend pushed the Lady Rebels overall so far this season at 2-4 as we start to get into the meat of the schedule and into at their late. Now the Lady Rebels will continue the season tomorrow hosting Duchesne. Returning home tomorrow, back in Legion play. As for the Bears, they've got a very young season so far. We'll let you know a little bit more about that. But our starting lineups coming up, and right now we've got JV action going on. Each team has won one game, and right now the Lady Rebels are ahead 14-7 in the third and deciding game, in the third and deciding set. So stay tuned. This is the Vivo Times and Everson presentation of this high Lady Rebel volleyball here on KMPQ 90.3 FM and watching online at KMPQradio.com. We'll take a quick break and be back in a minute with our coaches' interviews after this.
You're going to play the interviews on your computer.
No, we still might have that going. Could you play it from there? So just play the pregame liner one, just like you have on the schedule, and then go into that pregame liner one includes the interviews. What? Okay, thanks. Alana, are you there? Hello, is anyone there? Welcome back to the Good Times of Everson's presentation of Woodside Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KMPQ at 91.3 and online at KMPQradio.com. Right now we're going to visit with coaches in tonight's matchup on the coaches pregame show. So if producers back at the studio, if you go ahead and hit pregame liner one, that's going to take us into the coaches show right now here on KMPQ 91.3.
Welcome back to the Prison Times of Everson's presentation of Woodside Lady Rebel Volleyball on KMPQ 91.3.
Just not listening. I don't know what else I can say to get them to do it.
It's Cindy Stewart pregame coaching show. And first we're looking at the opposing coach, Elizabeth Wildcat of the Grand Oaks Lady.
Yeah, but I had to say it over the air to say play that, even though I just said it off the air.
And it's a time to get in the system.
Do you want me to go back to you, or do you want me to go straight into the commercials?
Just go straight into the commercials, and then right after that, go straight into pregame liner two. Don't come back to me after Wyoming Dental Specialist. You have that format sheet?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, you and I should get together sometime and talk because this is kind of confusing and frustrating.
Yeah.
So the rest of the pregame, you're gonna go when this pregame liner ends, just go straight to the Castle Rock and then play Wyoming Dental Specialist, straight into pregame liner two, Big O Tires, Cowboy Motors, and then come back to me after that, Cowboy Motors. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you. Starting lineup.
Exactly, there's a little bit more you said you have an outcome, so this is just And for since the Coco tournament, who else have you played against? And so as far as, I mean, you're still early on in the season, obviously, but how do you feel like the team is playing at this point? And what about facing the Rich here in Sure, what big looks to do?
Yeah, we played this fun last year, and it's a great team. We don't quite at the level that it's at so we bring a lot of energy to our team, and I think it's fun. It's a great team. Always have a sometimes.
What kind of things do you expect out of this game? What do you think of tonight's match?
So what's happening, Warren?
Well, that was Bear River Lady Bears head coach Elizabeth Wallenstein, and this is the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show on our Rich High Rebels pregame show. We're about 10 minutes from the start of tonight's matchup, and when we come back, we'll talk with Cindy Stewart of the Lady Rebels. You're listening to a Big O Town of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KAGQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at KAGQradio.com. What makes us stand out from our competition? Knowledge. Certified technicians with accomplished award I have not taken repair equipment. Quality. Genuine AC Velcro and quality GM parts. And what makes us stand out from our competition is you, our customers. Intelligent people who know a good deal of quality work for their outstanding.
Streaming now, so after we get done with the pregame show and the last commercial, then we're going to go poetry and then put you on streaming.
Smile. Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon AJ Stolzich, inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time. Well, Coach, let's talk about your win last Friday over Altamont. It looks like you guys played pretty well.
We did. We made some adjustments, and we had a really good. Our region is not real strong, and so, but I thought they had one of the better teams they've had in the past for quite a few years.
What did you feel like you did well that night?
Well, we adjusted to our new fixture, and that helped. But Ellen Peart, who is our setter, she's always been a hitter. She's converting to a setter, a backer setter. I thought she stepped up and took the role on good. She could very well fight me on it. She's taking it, she's embraced it, and she's going to do really well. So 15 assists, 9 kills, 1 error, 21 points. So she had a stellar game.
So what kind of adjustments are there moving to the 6-2? I mean, without getting too technical, but what can you tell us?
In Volleyball, you have one setter that sets all 5 rotations. With a 6-2, you have 2 setters sitting right. So Ellen will set Cammy, and the other little setter will set Ellen. So you're really having to deal with 2 different setters. And so that was just something we've never done, and even me as a coach have never done. So it's just a big adjustment.
If you adjust well, if your girls are able to do it well, is it a good advantage if they have 2 setters and more hitters?
Well, for us it is, because our other little setter's real small, so she didn't put up a block at all. And Ellen's not real tall. So we now have 2 of our taller girls, Christina Peterson and Emily Hopkins, and Danielle Hopkins blocking that right side. And whereas if we didn't, we'd have Andy or Ellen, and we'd be taller on the block.
You've got, you're going to be on the road today here at Bear Lake. Have you played these guys much in the past?
Yeah, they're a real rival for us. They're always a barn burner. A lot of our fans go over there. We usually have as many fans as they do. And then when they come here, it's a packed house. It's always been really, really good pep competition.
And are they pretty good as far as volleyball? Or have they had a good team traditionally?
They have in the past, like I said, so we really had a good program. So they've always given us a handful. And I didn't get to see them play at Cupfield, so I don't know how they will be this year. But from their reputation, just like ours, they'll always put up a good front. They're a real good, solid team.
And looking ahead just a little bit to tomorrow and Duchesne coming to Randolph, are they a team that's about on the same level as Altamont?
Yeah, it's about Altamont's level, maybe a little better. I've been doing volleyball camps out there trying to get the competition level in our region up higher, and so they have really bought into it, and really glad out there does a good job.
All right, well, good luck tonight, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Well, this has been the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show here on KADQ, and we're about 5 minutes away from tonight's opening shirt, and we'll be back with the starting lineups and the beginning of tonight's matches. This is the pregame show. You're listening to a Duo Tigers and Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Level Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at KADQradio.com. It's the National Antlers Boost here at Duo Tigers. There goes Tigers, we go the extra mile. Duo Tigers of Evanston, that means an instant $100 savings to you on 4 select tires currently in stock. Where we go?
Horrible. I can't hear you. What's happening? Hello? Hello? What's that?
You're on air now.
Well, welcome back. It's time now for the starting lineups. Brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. And for the Rich High Lady Rebels, we have number 2, the senior, Cammy Lamborn, outside hitter. Number 4, Reagan Miller, a junior starting. And also number 10, Ellen Peete, a senior. And also starting tonight, number 11, Andy Cornia, a freshman. Number 20, Lou Brown, a sophomore. And number 25, Danielle Huffner, a senior. That's your starting lineup brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff for the Lady Rebels. And as for the Bear Lake Lady Bears, starting lineup is number 4, Mariah Hiller, a sophomore. Number 13, a senior, Madison Schwarting. Number 15, Corey Sherman, a junior. Number 23, Brianna Gooding, a junior. Number 26, Kristen Stevens, a junior. And number 28, a senior, Sierra Stevens. The Bear for the Bear Lake Lady Bears is Alicia Newell. And that's your starting lineup here on KEPQ, brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. We're just moments away. Actually, the clock has started counting down from 5 minutes to 3 minutes and 40 seconds until the first serve here tonight, which will be brought to you, the beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. Now, getting updated on the junior varsity match that was just a little bit ago, ended about 15 minutes ago. The Rich Rebels got the victory. They lost the first set, but came back and won the second and third sets to get the win in that JV match. Team's warming up now, and actually they've added a minute or so onto the clock, so we're going to have a little bit more time to get warmed up and get ready to go on KEPQ. And just get you updated on what's going on here tonight. And first set is just a few minutes away here. And this is Ryan Sonica here at Bear Lake High School, the home of the Bears. And the JV won the match earlier tonight. Now, let's get you updated on what's happening, what's coming up. So, obviously, tonight, the Lady Rebels here at Bear Lake and taking on the Bear Lake Lady Bears, who are a young team, as you may have heard Coach Wallenstein talk about it. Coach Wallenstein is in her first year as the head coach of the Lady Bears. So, a little bit of inexperience in that department and in the team itself. They're both young. As we go up and down their roster, they do have 3 seniors starting. But, as Coach Wallenstein mentioned, not a lot of returning players with experience who are returning from last year's varsity squad. Now, the Lady Rebels, it's a similar story. Really, Cammy Lamborn is the only one with a lot of extensive experience on the varsity squad. And Ellen Peete did get some time playing varsity last year, got in quite a bit, and Danielle Huffner a little bit of time as well. But aside from that, the Lady Rebels are a fairly inexperienced squad as well. And that kind of showed in that first tournament that we did have some up here on KEPQ. They're at Coca 2 weeks ago, August 30th and 31st, where the Rebels went 1-4. Now, they won last Friday's match against Altamont, 3-0, but as we'll hear as we speak with or hear Coach Stewart talk about it, she is one of the first to mention that the region the Rebels play in is not extremely strong. So that win over Altamont is really something that's expected for the Rebels. So tonight here at Bear Lake, a little bit of a break from region play, and then tomorrow the Lady Rebels get back into region play, hosting Duchesne. And Duchesne is up and coming. They've got some experience coming back from last year, and I talked with their coach. We'll have the interview for you tomorrow on our pregame, which will begin at 5:30 tomorrow night from Randolph at Rich High School. So make sure to tune in for that tomorrow night as well. Just updated on the rest of the weekend, we'll have Rich High football here on KEPQ this Saturday. Now, right now, the sophomore team is in action at Star Valley. And what is it? It's about 7:30, so it's probably about halftime getting into the third quarter at Star Valley with the sophomores. Our varsity game, or the varsity game for the Rich High Rebels, will be Saturday at Mountain Crest. And we're ready to go with that one. It'll be Saturday afternoon. Kickoff is scheduled for 2 p.m. The JV is scheduled for 12 o'clock, so we might have a little bit later kickoff. So we'll be on air with our pregame at 1:20 Saturday afternoon, and the Rich High football game right here on KEPQ. We're just a few minutes away, maybe less from our opening serve, and that was brought to you by the station in Randolph. Let's roll through our starting lineups just one more time in case you missed it. For the Richard Lady Rebels starting lineup brought to you by Stacey's Repair in Woodruff. We'll have Callie Lamborn, Megan Lloyd, Lamborn a senior, Lloyd as junior, Ellen Pete as senior, and Pete has, if you heard our pregame interview with Coach Cindy Stewart, Pete has moved over to setter this season, which is a position she's not as accustomed to. But when changes have to occur, sometimes the seniors have to step up and provide that leadership, and that is what Pete is attempting to do. It worked well last weekend against Altamont. We'll see how it goes tonight against a Bear Lake squad that's probably a step or two above what we saw in Altamont last Friday. Other starters tonight, Andy Cordia, which means that the Rebels will receive tonight, so the Bear Lake Lady Bears will serve to start this one off, and we'll see Ellie Hopkins come in before too long when the Rebels go to serve. Also starting tonight on the Stacey's Repair, Ian Woodruff starting lineup, Lily Brown, number 20, a sophomore, and a senior, Danielle Huffner. And Huffner, one of the taller players on the team, she provides some good blockings and good defense for the Lady Rebels. Starting lineup brought to you by Stacey's Repair in Woodruff of the Bear Lake Lady Bears. Again, we'll go through this. A sophomore, Mariah Higley, a senior, Madison Schwarting, a junior, Corey Sherman, a sophomore, or a junior rather, Brianna Grunick, a junior, Kristen Stevens, and a senior, Sierra Stevens, and a libero for the Rebels, for the Bears rather. Lady Bears is Dacia Hill, a senior. That team's out on the court right now. We've got a good crowd here, and for the Bears, got a lot of student fans here. I see a lot of Bears football players over wearing the jerseys as they prepare for a football game tomorrow night. They're going to make up a good contingent of the fans across the way from me. I'm sitting on the gym right about center court and facing from, let me get my bearings. I'm facing west, so I'm sitting with my back to the east, facing west. The south side is on my left, north side is on my right. Right now, the Lady Rebels are warming up, practicing setting and hitting, and the Bears, so each team has a different routine pre-game, and right now the Rebels are practicing the serving and hitting, and what a hit! Like Tammy Lamborn in the warm-up, she's going to cool that off. It's going to be the secret weapon of the Rebels, but as the Rebels warm up, the Bears are over here lined up on the back line of the volleyball court, over here on the north side of the court, and they're just lined up arm in arm on that back row, and if any serves that make it back that far, the Bears are just kicking it back. It's almost like a soccer match going back the other way after the Rebels hit. And again, the Rebels hitting from south to north. That's left to right from my view. A good crowd here. We've got a lot of Rebels fans here, as it's not too far of a drive for the Richside Rebels. I know I'm maybe up here about an hour and a half from Edison. And we did have a lot of rain, and actually some water in the roadway. We had to slow down for a little bit of flooding in the roadway. Teams continuing to warm up here. They've added a couple more minutes to the clock as we continue on with our pregame show here this evening. And starting lineups were brought to you by Stacey's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve coming up in about 3 minutes from now, according to the clock. That's about the third time I've said that. But our beginning serve will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. Again, updating you on matches earlier this evening in JV match. The Bears won the first set, and then the Rebels won sets 2 and 3 to win the JV match 2-1. And since you know a little bit more, we can look back on the history of the Lady Rebels and the Lady Bears and what they've done against each other in the past, and how the Lady Rebels have done. Now, last year, as many of you know, the Lady Rebels had a great season, 28-3. They went 9-0 in Region 21 and lost in the semifinals to St. Joseph, who had been beaten earlier in the season. at Rich, I believe that game was on September 29th of last year. But then St. Joseph got the win in the semifinals. Rich went on to defeat Paiute in the consolation and finish in third place. That was last year. Now, if we take a look back at last year and when these two teams played, Rich won easily, 3-0. That was on September 13th, so pretty much a year ago from today. It was a Thursday night, just like tonight, and the Rich Rebels won 3-0 over the Bear Lake Lady Bears. That was the only time the teams played last year. But if you look back at the year before, the same story. Rebels beat the Bear Lake Lady Bears 3-0. But the year before was the last time that the Lady Bears defeated Rich, and that was October 1st of 2010. The Rebels kind of struggled a little bit that year. 16-10 overall, they were 5-0 in the region, and ended up the season losing in the semifinals to Paiute and then beating St. Joseph in the consolation round. Lady Rebels, of course, have had a great tradition building, and have really been strong over the last 10 or 15 years. State championships in 2006. Let me start back in 2002. So championships in 2002, 03, 04, 05, and 06. In 07, lost to Penguins, put Rich in second place at state. In 08, the Rebels defeated Penguins for the state title. So that was another state championship for the Rebels in that season. And Rich defeated Altamont for third place in 2009. In 2010, again, as I mentioned, Rich defeated St. Joseph for second place finish in 2011 and lost to Monticello in the championship. And that took places up to last year where Rich defeated Paiute for the third place match in that consolation match. So that's kind of recaps what the Rebels have done over the last few years. It's been quite a program that Coach Cindy Stewart has built up. And one interesting note I learned about Coach Stewart this year, just the last day or two, was that she grew up mainly playing basketball, did not play a lot of organized volleyball, but boy, she was really just transferred her success on the basketball court and learned to become a student of the game of volleyball. And she's really built the Rich program into something really very strong and successful, as you can see over the last few years. 5 or 6 state championships just in the last 10 or 11 years combined. So that's what Rich High has done over the last few years. And again, we're just a few minutes away from our beginning serve of the match, brought to you by the station in Randolph. We've got our starting lineups brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. And again, recapping on the Unitado scoreboard, the JV Lady Rebels defeated the JV Bear Lake Lady Bears 2-1. The Lady Bears won the first set, but then the Lady Rebels came back 1 sets 2 and 3 to win the match. And I gotta laugh because I've said 2 or 3 times already that they've added a couple of minutes to the clock. Well, they've just added a couple more minutes, and we're just a few more minutes away from our first serve, again, which will be brought to you by the station in Randolph. And you're listening to a Big Oak Times of Everson presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KOVQ 98.3 FM, and you can watch the game online live at KOVQradio.com. That is streaming with video on KOVQradio.com. You can follow that, some links there, and get yourself the video set up, turn on your radio on, and tune in for the audio here on KOVQ FM 98.3. We're working on the kinks, and we'll have the streaming audio pretty soon. We're hoping to have the streaming audio on the video, along with the video. Right now, it's just the video, correct, Warren? But you can catch the video on KOVQradio.com. Oh, again, just the clock's down to a minute. I've said that maybe a couple of times, and then they've added a couple of minutes on to it. But we are courtside, a good crowd here tonight, and it's a lot of blue. A lot of blue. Yes, of course, the Rebels, the blue, and they're like similar colors. There's in blue, and it looks like for tonight the Rich Lady Rebels will be in the black road uniforms, all black with white trim, And then they'll be serving from south to north from my view. I'm sitting here facing the west direction, and Lady Rebels are going west to right from my view. There's here on my right side as I'm center court, and those are going north to south. There's having warm-ups on, so I just threw the black shorts, and they got white warm-ups. It looks like they've got white shirts underneath with blue trim. And again, got good crowd here tonight at Volleyball High School, the home of the Bears, and here on this north wall, all kinds of state championship banners up there. The most recent 2010-11 is state academic Hawk championship in the girls' schools and the schools division. We've got baseball state championships, softball state championships, cross country, volleyball, most recently in 1997, I believe, if I'm seeing. Oh no, they've got the volleyball going the other direction. 2000 and 2001, the 01-02 season was a three-year state volleyball championship for the Bears. Mr. President, I believe now we're just going to be moments away from the opening serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. Let's take a quick break. I will see a little bit of a rest here as we get starting lineups on the board from the PA announcer. And we'll get the starting lineups again brought to you by Stacey with us right after this minute break on QFM 98.3. It's a big times of Evanston presentation of Rich High River Volleyball, and you can watch it online at QFM.com.
Guys are all fixed and ready to go.
Online is fast. Gas prices on the rise. No longer have to get out of gas. High School, the home of the Bears, and just moments away from our opening serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph. Ryan Stockton here with the bigger tire of us, and online at KMCRadio.com. The cheer there was for the end. I spoke a little earlier there. We had the Fairlake High School, the flag. The flag comes down, the goes down out of the floor, almost like you see a projector come down, and so we had the national anthem and the next step rolling back up in there, and the cheer was one side was completed. Well, we're just moments away from the beginning serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph, as the Lady Rebels just set to take on the Lady Bears. In our JV match earlier tonight, the Lady Rebels got to win 2-1. They lost the first set, but then came back once sets number 2 and 3. Good crowd here tonight in this gym at Fairlake High School.
Working on some starting lineups for the PO matches, so we'll give you the starting lineups as well. Again, brought to you by Stacey's Repair in Woodruff for the Rich High Lady Rebels. Number 3, a senior, Tammy Lamborn. Number 4, Regan Willard, a junior. Number 10, a senior, Ellen Pugh. Number 11, a freshman, Andy Cornea. And number 20, a sophomore, Lily Brown. And a senior, number 25, Danielle Custer. Now, the Lady Rebels will receive to start tonight's match here in just a couple of moments. We'll have our beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. And right now, let's continue on with our starting lineups brought to you by Stacey's Repair in Woodruff. Number 4 for the Lady Bears is Mariah Kruger, a sophomore. Number 13, Madison Schwarden, a senior. Number 15, a junior, Corey Sherman. Number 23, Joanna Grunick, a junior. Number 26, a junior, Kirsten Stevens. And number 28, a senior, Sierra Stevens. The barrel for the Velo Lady Bears, Keisha Neal. And the barrel for the Rich High Lady Rebels is Whitney Weston. And those are your starting lineups brought to you by Stacey's Repair in Woodruff. Moments away from the opening serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. As we're here to starting lineups, I'll let you know again, I'm sitting on the west side of the east side of the gym, facing the west. And the Rebels are here lined up on the back line on my left side, which is the south end of the gym. The Bears lined up here on the right side, and again the Rebels in all black uniforms tonight with white trim and a little bit of blue on the front going with the Rebels. Rebels coaches lined up down there with blue. With Rebel blue and, similar colors here. They're like Lady Bears, almost identical blue, red and blue there. And the Lady Bears come out tonight with the black shorts, white shirts, and blue numbers. The barrel for the Lady Bears. And then the blue with white trim. And the teams will come around with high five underneath the net. And we're just moments away from getting this one underway. You can hear the Rebels chanting. That's the Rebel fans right over there, making some noise. And across the way from me, we've got there's the Bear Lake. Those are the Bear Lake fans over there across the way, and we've got a lot of Bear Lake students over there in their football uniforms as they're really prepared for tomorrow's football game. Speaking of football, Rich High Rebel football coming up this Saturday here on KABQ, and that'll be as the Rebels play against the Mountain Crest JV team in Hiram Utah. We'll have it for you right here on KABQ at 1:20 to 2 game. Kickoff is set for 2 o'clock this Saturday. Now, prior to that, the Lady Rebels also in action again tomorrow night, hosting Duchesne, and we'll have that match for you live here on KABQ as well. The pregame at 5:30, and the opening serve brought to you by the Association in Randolph, scheduled for 6 o'clock tomorrow night from Randolph and Rich High School. Lady Bears here on my right, Lady Rebels on my left. Bears serving right to left, that's north to south, as we just said for the beginning serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph. With a jump serve by the Bears, it's long, and the Rebels lead 1-0. A long serve by Madison Schwarden, the senior. An unforced mistake, unforced error, and the Rebels will send Ellen Pierce back to serve first. Cornea checks out, and Hopkins in. Here's the serve to the back row. Pass up front. Here's the set. Good set, but it's a little bit away from the net. Rebels able to put something together, and now Pierce comes up to set and steps over that line under the net, and we're tied at 1 on the Uinta scoreboard. First set, tied at 1. As we're underway with Bear Lake High School. Our beginning serve was brought to you by the station in Randolph. Here's the 1-1 serve from the back row, from the back, and by Corey Sherman. Rebels play it, and Lamborn just has to hit it over. They've set it up now. Here's the set, hit from this near side, all the way across the court by Brianna Goody, who's long out of bounds, and point goes to the Rebels. And now we're 2-1. Back to serve for Rich High is Reagan Roy. She serves in the back row, and the Bears have a little trouble handling it, but a good pass up front to Step, and it's dropped into a hole. Nice little tip by the Lady Bears, and it's 2-2 on the Unicatal scoreboard. And the serve will go back to the Bears. Ryan Wheeler back there. The sophomore serves it into the net, and it's 3-2. Rebels back on top on the Unicatal scoreboard here in the first set. Now checking into the game for Rich High is Christina Peterson. And Brown checks out. Peterson up to the front row. One solid goals on the team, so that gives them a little more height right there on the front row. Back to serve is Huffner. Danielle Huffner serves. Nice side lofting serve to the back row. Pass up front. Here's the set. Big hit right up the middle. And nobody's getting that one by Brianna Bruning. And we're tied at 3 on the Unicatal scoreboard. Serve goes back to the Bears. And Sierra Stevens, a senior, will go to the back row. Go out to Shumba. Good setup. Looks like she's going to set up for a running jump serve, and that's what we see from the bounce straight away. Goes to the back row. Huffner passes up front. It's out of bounds, and now the Rebels will just scramble to put it over the net. Pass back. Oh, it's not a good pass received by Kristen Stevens, and it's played off the back of her hands out of play, and the Rebels retake the lead 4-3 on the title scoreboard. That's a serve now for the Rebels. Will go Andrew Cordia. From the near side, going left to right from my view. Serves long, and we're tied up at 4 once again. That's how it's gone. The Rebels take a 1-point lead, and the Bears bounce back. The Rebels take a lead, Bears put it back. Back to serve is Brianna Brunig. Brunig serves way long. That's out of play, and there we go again with the Rebels. Back up by 1, 5-4 on the Unicatal scoreboard. Back to serve is Tammy Lamborn for the Rebels. Jump serve from the back, right to the middle, right about the foul line if there were a basketball game. Here's the big hit. Rebels block it and keep it alive. Punch it back over the net. Bears set it up. Here's the hit. Blocks at the net. Rebels keep it alive. Lamborn will set it up to the far side, and Huffman just punches it over. Hit back to the Rebels. They keep it alive again. It's at the net. Pearson changes it off the net, and the Rebels set it up. Here's the hit by Pierce, and must have had one of the players of the Rebels step on the net, or on that line down low, and we're tied again at 5. Got a rally there. Tied again at 5 on the Unicatal scoreboard, and Rivero, they should yield back to serve. Jump serve, good over serve, just clears the net. That was a nice pass up front, but it's not a very good set, and a nice play by Wood to keep himself from stepping over that bottom line under the net. Rebels will set it up. Here's the it over the top, but just a push by Wood. After the Bears will set it up, a poor set, and they're going to have to push it back over as well. Rebels will set it up. Here's the hit by Peterson. Blocks right back at the Rebels. Peterson pushes it over the top, and the Bears are right there. They'll set it up. Backside. Here's a hit over the net. Not very good, and we get a point to the Bears as Lloyd got on that line or touched the net, and for the first time in this set, the Bears took a lead. It's 6-5 on the Unicatal scoreboard. Rebels trail. Here's the serve over the top. Lamborn back row passes up front. Set, and here's the Lloyd with the hit block right back by Madison Fording. She just got that hand over the top, and the Bears lead by 2, 7-5 on the Unicatal scoreboard. First set here at Bay Lake High School. Here's the set, the serve over the top. Lamborn passes up front. The set, here's the feed with the big hit. It's blocked, but the Bears can't control it. They hit it out of bounds, and the Rebels get the point, making it 7-6 on the Unicatal scoreboard, and the serve will go back to Rich High. That's the difference when you get a good pass up front and a good set. You can get a nice hit, and Pete got a nice hit there. And now we'll send Brown, Billy Brown, the sophomore, back to serve for the Rebels. She'll serve from about straight away, going south to north and serves it into the net. Making it 8-6 on the Unicatal scoreboard. Bears with the lead. Madison Schwarting back to serve. She'll serve from just off to the far side. Goes back row, quick, passes up front. Now the set, here's the hit by Lloyd. This one is really long, just got underneath it. And that makes it 9-6 on the Minnesota scoreboard. Serve starting to pull away just a little bit here. Shorty goes to serve again. She goes back low. That one a little bit long. It bounces out the tries to reach out and throw it and can't control it. And that's well out of play. Making it 10-6 on the Minnesota scoreboard. There's now the 4-point move. Shorting serves again. Goes back low. Lamborn passes. And the set up front. Now Kid will just push it over the top. There's just set it up. Here's the hit. Blocked it to right, but with three blockers, it goes over the outstretched fingertips. Mariah Hillier just tips it over the top, falls to the floor, and it's 11-6. Lady Bears on the Minnesota scoreboard. Shorting. Here's the jump serve again. Back low. Good. Passes up front. Here's the set by Cornea. And now the push over the top by Lloyd. There's a recover. Here's the set. Here's Rip. Trip. And we're going to have a carry. I don't into the net on the Rebels. And that's the point. Bears making it 12-6 on the Minnesota scoreboard. Rebels trailing. And Coach Stewart wants a timeout to talk about it. We'll take a quick one as well. You're listening to a bigger time. That's the presentation of Rich High Lady Level Volleyball on KHQ and online at KHQRadio.com. Back in 30 seconds.
Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock.
Can't hear the ad.
You can now get into Dodge.
Yeah, a little bit.
Strength, honesty,
Oh, yeah, that was much better.
Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
I can't hear it anymore, though. There you go. Welcome back to a big old time of MC presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KHQFM 98.3 online at KHQRadio.com. Shorting serves at one, and what a tip by Ellen Smith. They set it up front. She just tips it right over the top of the blockers, and that'll get the ball to serve back to the Rebels. It's 12-7 on the Minnesota scoreboard, and that, from a coaching standpoint, that's exactly what we want coming out of the timeout, is to get that side out. Here's the serve. It's a beautiful one, and the Rebels scramble, or the Bears scramble, to put it to set it back up. Now Smith sets it for Lloyd. She's trying to push it over the blockers, talking it over the top of them, and now the Bears will set it up, tipped by the Rebel blockers, and they'll set it up. Now the hit by Huffner, and it goes off the side of her hand into the net, and that'll make it 13-7 on the Minnesota scoreboard. Bears back up by 6. Back to serve goes Corey Sherman, a junior. She'll serve from this new side, north to south. That's right to left from my back row Lamborn. Pass up front. Here's the set. Big hit by Lloyd, and she hammers it home. And that'll get it back to the Rebels. Makes it 13-8 on the Minnesota scoreboard. See if the Rebels can put together a bit of a run here with Regan Lloyd going back to serve. The Rebels were neck and neck until the Bears went on a little bit of a run. Here's the serve by Lloyd. There's the back row. They'll pass it up front. Here's the step for Shorting. This one way longer. That's Runic with the hit, and that's way long. So it's 13-9 on the Minnesota scoreboard. We were tied at 5 before the Bears went on that run, and suddenly it was 13-7 before we knew it. Here's the serve. Nice one. The Bears able to recover. Punch it back over the top. Now Rich just punches it right back. Here's the set. Push and Runic, rather. Bridge hit. Revan serve. Control it just enough to get it back over the net in 3 hits. Here's the set. Again for Runic. Big hit. Right down at 2 feet. Touches down there quick enough. And there's a kill for Runic. And it makes it 14-9 on the Minnesota scoreboard. Rebels trail as Mariah Hillier goes back to serve for the Lady Bears. Serves from straight away. Good strong serve. Back row. Huffner passes up front. Kick sets it for Lamborn. Good hit down the line. Got it on the line. Hammers it home, and it's 15-10. Rebels trail on the Minnesota scoreboard. Peterson will come check back in. This should be in the rotation back up to that front row. Get that height in there for the Lady Rebels. After back to serve, she'll serve from this new side on the south end of the court going north. Serves to the back row, and just at the last second, she took it no. Oh, it was long, and Neal thought about it, reached back, and pulled her hands away at the very last fraction of a second. It goes long, out of play, 15-10. There's the point on the Watertown scoreboard. Here's the serve by Schwarting to the back row. The Rebels will set it up. Lamborn just tips it over. Passes up front. Here's the set for Lamborn. Again, the push to the back row. Good effort by the Bears to keep it alive. Into the stands. They go and keep the play alive. Rebels will set it up. Here's the set for Lamborn. Out of bounds, and the Rebels get the point. 15-11 on the Uinta scoreboard, and that's the way the Rebels want to set it up each time, is to get that set from Lamborn coming from anywhere on the floor and get that big hit. She's a big hit outside hitter for the Lady Rebels. And Andy Cornea checks back in for the Rebels to serve. Serves to the back row, and not a good serve receive. They're going to say a carry on number 15, Corey Sherman. And the Rebels cut into the lead just a little more. 15-12 on the UNS scoreboard. Cornea to serve again. Serving from this near side. Goes to the back row. Looking on the libero. Neal. Her pass up front goes right back over the net. Rebels push it back over. That's Lamborn. And there's that handler that's hit out of bounds. And we're within two now. 15-13 on the UNS scoreboard. Cornea to serve once again. Goes through to the back row again. Not a great pass up front. But they'll set it up. Blocked by the Rebels on a hit by Sherman. And it's another point for the Rich High Lady Rebels, making it 15-14 on the UNS scoreboard. Rebels with a run. We got a timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well. Rebels down by one. You're listening to a big old time Rebels presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KH98.3 FM and online at KH.com.
Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon AJ Stosich, inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's
Are we back? Welcome back as Cornea's serve goes long, making it 16-14 on the UNS scoreboard, and Munich back to serve. Back row, hit by Lamborn, blocked at the net by the Bears, but it's blocked out of bounds, and point to the Rebels, who were back within one, 16-15 on the UNS scoreboard. Bears went on an 8-2 run when we were tied at 5, and then the Rebels went on a 6-2 run, make it 7-3. Here's the hit by Sherman. It's long, and the Rebels tied up at 16 with that right there on the UNS scoreboard as Lamborn goes back to serve again. Coach Stewart jumps up from the bench to give Lamborn a quick word, and I guarantee she just told us service to Lucy Neal. She does it. The Neal can't handle the serve, hits it out of bounds, and the Rebels are back on top, 17-16 on the UNS scoreboard. Let's see if Lamborn goes back to Neal. She does. Back row. Neal's pass up front. Close to the net, but not bad. Here's the hit. Rebels just took it right back over. Double hit, though, on the Rebels. And point will go to the Lady Bears, tied back up at 17 on the UNS scoreboard. Back to serve is Lucy Neal, the senior libero for the Lady Bears. Jump serve. She's got a great serve. Boy, just barely skims the net. Rebels set it up. Morton push it over into the corner. Neal is there. Passes up front. Here's the set from back row. Brunig, long hit. Well, she's trying to hit from that 10 feet behind the net. I just got under it too much. Hits it really long. And the Rebels regained the lead 18-17 on the UNS scoreboard. Substitution for the Lady Rebels. And Linda Brown will come back in to serve as she gets her serve time up on the rotation. She'll serve from the left to right against south to north to right. Goes back low, and Sherman can't handle it, does not get her feet in position, and the Rebels now up 19-17 on the UNS scoreboard. Rich High, the Lady Rebels have not led by, this is the biggest lead, too, of the first set. Tony back to serve again. Brown rather, back to serve again, and she serves long, but did we have a timeout first? No, we had some kind of violation. I'm not sure. I didn't see the signal against the Bears. So it's a point, and it's lucky for the Rebels because the serve was long by Brown. A point to the Rebels, so now it's 20 to 17. One of the players has lined up just a little too far forward there on that back row, so that's the violation, and it's 20 to 17. Brown serve goes back row. Brunet passes up front. Not a good pass, not a good set. Brunet just hits it over. Rebels will set it up. Again, same story for the Rebels, and they'll just have to hustle. We'll just have to hit it over. Hit it over wide, out of play, or out of bounds, and it's 20 to 18 on the U1 title scoreboard after that point to the Bears. Madison Schwarting back to serve. Number 13 serves from the far side, and Lloyd just throws it on a serve receive, and it's played off her hands out of bounds, and point goes to the Little Bears. 20 to 19 on the U1 title scoreboard. Schwarting, back row, gets to Lloyd. The pass, a tough one, helps to keep it alive, and now Cleveland will root it over. Pass up front for the Bears. They'll set it up. Here's the hit. Hits at the line, or the net by the Rebels, and that is just enough to drop it into a hole, and we're tied at 20 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Schwarting back to serve again for the Lady Bears. We're tied at 20. First set on the U.S. title scoreboard. Lloyd, nice pass up front. Here's the set for Flint. Good grip. Blocked at the net, and the Bears will set it up. Here's the hit for the Bears, and now we have Rebel in the net. Once again, that'll be a point to the Bears, and they retake the lead on the U.S. title scoreboard with Madison Schwarting still serving. Here's their leg. Schwarting. Jump serve, back row, Lamborn is there this time. She'll pass it up front. Good pass. Set hit by Hewitt into the blockers, but it falls. The blockers not close enough to the net. It falls between them and the net on the very left side of the court. We're tied at 21 on the U1 title scoreboard. And a substitution as Emily Hopkins will check back into the game. Hewitt serves and it just skips across the net. The pass goes back over the net, and none of the Rebels are in position to play it. Finds the floor, and the Lady Bears retake the lead 22-21 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Back to serve is Corn Sherman. Switch from this side. Jump serve back row. Lamborn passes up front. Hit was set. Here's the hit by Hupner. It's blocked at the line, but it skipped over the blockers and rolls to the floor and was tied up at 22. 22-22 on the U.S. title scoreboard as Regan Lloyd goes back to serve. Serving from the far side. It's south to north. That's left to right from my view. Here's the set. The set up front. Brunet trying to hit. She did not get underneath it enough. She was late to get in position. It was a low set. And it goes into the net. Rebels shots on top. 23-22 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Lloyd serve. Back row. She goes to Neal. Pass up front. Here's the set for Brunet. No. It's back row. Big play by Pitt to keep it alive. Up near the head. It's received. Pass up front. Here's the set to Brunet. It is but it's into the corner, and what a placement by Brunet, and we're tied at 23 on the U.S. title scoreboard. This has been tight from start to finish. It's been back and forth. Neither team able to gain much of an advantage. Back to serve now is Mariah Kruger. 23 all on the U.S. title scoreboard. Lamborn serve receive. Pass up front. Hughes sets it for Lamborn. Push over the top. Almost finds the hole. Brunet dives to the floor to keep it alive, and the Bears will push over the top. Now Pierce sets it against the Lamborn. Not a great fit. It's too far back. She pushes over down the line. A diving effort by Mariah Kruger. And sets the ball out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 24-23 on the U.S. title scoreboard. As Woodley Weston goes back to serve. 3 points, set point for the Rebels. Serve is going to be way long, and we're tied at 24. Tied at 24 on the U.S. title scoreboard, and back to serve will go Sierra Stevens, the senior, for the Lady Bears. Jump serve, just clears the net. Weston passes up front. Phoenix sets it up for Martinez for Peterson, who tips it over the top. There's Captain Sword, and the Rebels score 25-24. Rebels lead on the U.S. title scoreboard. And back to set to serve now is Andy Cornea. The freshman, Cornea. And now we got a timeout on the floor. Coach Valentine says this is a set point. We better talk about it. 25-24, Rebels with the lead on the U.S. title scoreboard. You're listening to a Big Old Tire Emerson presentation of Woodside Lady Rebel Volleyball on KUBQ 98.3 FM and online at KUBQRadio.com. Back in 30 seconds.
slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge. Cowboy Motor Company. Straight, honesty, and integrity. Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company.
Yes, sir. Coach to the back row. The Bears are able to push it back over the top. Now the Rebels push it back over. Walmart pushes it, and the Bears can't control it. And the Rebels are going to take the first set 26-24. What a battle these two teams just had. And the Rebels win set 1, 26-24 on the UNIT title scoreboard. Oh my goodness. We're going to take a break. What a first set we had. We'll recap that in just a bit. That's the end of the first set. You're listening to a Big Old Time Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KUBQ 98.3 FM and online at KUBQradio.com. Back in 30 seconds.
Precious time to do trouble once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time, extra miles, and the ball services you learned are available right here in Evanston. Do you know anything else?
Said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose
Are you
time.
missing trips and want a friend quick and smile? You need groceries. All these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is your Susan O.J. Stokes, writing literature, and associates. How to do it, schedule an appointment,
This is all and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608.
Presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KUBQ 98.3 FM and online at KUBQradio.com. And what a first set we just had here at Bear Lake High School. The Rebels took the early lead 1-0 on the UNIT title scoreboard, and it went back and forth until we got to 5-5. At that point, the Lady Bears went on an 8-2 run and were ahead 13-7. And that's when Coach Jasur took a timeout. The Rebels regrouped, pulled it back together, went on a 12-4 run, and made it 20-17. It was neck and neck from there. We got tied up at 24 before the Rebels scored 2 straight points on some great play by all the players, really, by all the Rebels. And the Rebels get the victory 26-24 on the UNIT title scoreboard. And what a first set that was. These two teams, you can see why this is such a rivalry, why this has become such a big match for the two teams over the years. So they're just, if that first set is any indication, these are two teams that are both coached well, they both play hard, they both do a lot of things well, and they're just really evenly matched, at least from what I can see. Now, something interesting that we just witnessed here at Bear Lake High School. I'm sitting on the east side of the gym facing west. The Rebel fans, mainly the student section, is here on my far right, on the northeast end of the gym. Now, the Bears student section was straight across from me on that west side of the gym, and out just on the north side of the net. But as soon as that first set ended, and the Bears team, the Lady Bears, moved to that south end of the gym, the entire student section shifts to that south end of the stands. And suddenly the bleachers here on that northwest side are almost empty. Just a few fans left over there as the entire student section shifts to that southwest side. So an interesting side as the student section goes down to support the Lady Bears on that end of the gym. Those are good set for the second set. Our beginning serve will be brought to you by the station in Randolph, and we'll have Ellen Felix serving. Rebels receive to start the first set, so they'll serve to start the second set. And again, this beginning serve is brought to you by the station in Randolph. Hewitt back, ready to serve, jump serve. Here we go. We're underway with the second set. Pass up front, tipped over the top, and what a placement by Sierra Stevens. Instead of setting to her teammate, she just sets it over the net, and the Bears have taken early 1-0 lead on the UNIT title scoreboard. Somehow she set it over behind her where nobody was. I don't know how she saw that. She must have eyes in the back of her head. Madison Schooling to serve now, goes back low. Lloyd passes up front. It was set. This side for Lloyd. It's off the top of the net and finds the floor. And we're tied at 1 on the Unitarian scoreboard. And you often see that when a set or a serve hits the top of the net and goes over, it throws the defense off, and they often have a hard time getting to it. Boyd will serve now. She serves to the back row. Neal decides to go for it at the last second when Green pass on it. It might have been wrong, but since Neal did it, it's a point for the Rebels, who lead 2-1 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Lloyd again to serve from this near side. Serve wrong, and this time Neal holds off and was tied at 2 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Back to serve for the Lady Bears is Corey Sherman. Sherman, again south to north, that's left to right from my view. And she's, wow, what a serve, what a tough spot. She gets it over the front row and just, the ball just dives right in front of Lloyd. It makes a great effort diving to the floor to get to it, but can't get the 3-2. Bears with the lead on the Unitarian scoreboard. Swirling again to serve. This time it goes a bit further to Lloyd. Passes out of bounds. The Bears keep it, the Rebels keep it alive, and Lamborn hits it over. Now the Bears will set it up. Hit by Mariah Huger. Rebels will receive, set it up, but hit by Hoffner back low, and Neal scrambling. The Bears Huger was back over the net in 3. Now the Rebels will set it up. Rick sets it up this side. The Lamborn gets over the top of it just a bit. Gets it into the net, and the Bears lead 4-2 on the Unitarian scoreboard here in the second set. Rebels won the first set in a barn burner, 26-24. Sherman back to serve again. Goes back low, right to Wood. They must see something they're picking on her a little bit. Here's the set. Lamborn is real good, and the Bears are there. They'll set it up. Here's the set, and they can't get it together real well, so they're just trying to get it over the top. They're going to set it up for Lamborn, who just pushes it over into the hole. She finds the floor, and it's 4-3. Rebels down by 1 on the Unitarian scoreboard. That's just excellent awareness by Lamborn there. She sees the blockers ready to come up and block the hit, so she just pushes it just a little, almost like a set, over the blocker's outstretched fingertips, finds the floor where no defenders are. Now here's the serve by Huffman. What a serve! It dives to the floor. A diving effort by Shorting the strong foot to it, and we're tied at 4 on the Unitarian scoreboard. As Huffman goes back to serve again for the Rich High Lady Rebels, serving north to south. That's right to left in my view. And the serve goes back row. Brunick pass up the scoreboard, and Konya checks in to serve. Konya will serve, and serves it clear to the back row. It's hit high into the rafters. On the server seat by Corey Sherman. It bounces around out there and then bounces straight to the floor, and we're tied at 6 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Corey had to serve again. Corey has served down the line. Brunick, not a good server. He just leaps up, pushes it back down to the floor, and the Rebels regain the lead. 7-6 on the Unitarian scoreboard. They led earlier 2-1. But now this is only their second lead of this second set. 7-6 with the lead. Corey has served down the line just a bit off target, out of bounds, and we're tied back up at 7 on the Unitarian scoreboard as Stevens, this is Sierra Stevens, goes back to serve. Jump serve, back row, and we had a player out of position on the Rebels. Moved too early, and the point will go to the Bears, so they'll retake the lead, 8-7 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Stevens back to serve once again. Serve goes back there. Boyd passes up front. Here's Cornea, sets it up for Lamborn. Push over the top, trying to find the hole. Can't quite find it. Diego passes it up front. Set hit by Brunick, and a big hit by Brunick. Right at Huffner. She can't get in position to play it. And it's 9-7. Lady Bears with the lead on the Unitarian scoreboard. Stevens. Here's the serve. Back row. This time Lamborn receives. Pass up front. Set for Lamborn. Hit off the top of the net. It's hit by a couple of Bears as well in mid-wide. And the point will go to the Rebels. Good hit by Lamborn there. And it's 8-9 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Lamborn back to serve now for Rich High. Goes back row. Brunick reaches out to pass it up front. The set. Blocked by Brunick. Right back in the face of the Bears. And it's a point for the Rebels. We're tied at 9 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Good block by Ellen Pierce, the senior, stepping up. Here's the serve by Lamborn, and that one finds the hole with an ace for the Rebels. And it's 10-9. This time retakes the lead on the Unititle scoreboard. 10-9. Lamborn will serve again as the Bears have sent 4 players to the back row to receive this serve from Lamborn, who serves it way long, and we're tied at 10. So back to serve now is Brianna Grudick serves from the far side and comes back to Lamborn, passes up front. Cornea set. Here's the hit by Lloyd up over the blockers, but not real hard, so Bears able to receive. Now Lamborn tries to try and keep it alive. A pass from Weston. Not a lot of air underneath it, and the point will go to the Bears. As Lamborn's diving attempt to keep it alive goes into the stands. Grudick will begin to serve this one into the net, so we'll be tied at 11 on the Unititle scoreboard. Rebels will make some substitutions. And Lou Brown will check in. Christina Peterson checks out. Brown will come in to serve. Rebels serving north to south, that's right to left in my view. And Brown here on the near side. Serving goes to the far side. Yield. A hit back over the top, and Huffner goes up trying to just tip it back over. Is called for a carry. So the Bears regain the lead, 12 to 11 on the Unititle scoreboard. Yield goes back to serve. From straight away to the back row. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea sets it up. Here's the hit by Hewitt. It's not a good receive. The Bears scrambling to keep it alive. Somehow they do. No, it does not make it to inside of that antenna. They were playing on that far side outside the stands, and the hit over the net was outside of the antenna. So that's a point for the Lady Rebels, and we're tied at 12 on the Unititle scoreboard. If that first set wasn't enough to convince you that these teams are extremely evenly matched, the Rebels won 26-24. Neither team has had more than a 2-point lead in this second match. It's 12-12 as the Rebels serve, and 12-12 on the Unititle scoreboard. The Bears have put it together, they're pushing across the net. Now, Rebels going back the other way, and a Rebel steps over that line underneath the net, which strips the Bears of the point, and the Lady Bears lead. Oh no, my mistake. So gave the Rebels the point as one of the Bears stepped on the line. And the Rebels lead 13-12. Here's the hit. The Rebels block it. And we have another violation of one of the Bears in the net. Gives the Lady Rebels another point, making it 14-12 on the Unititle scoreboard. Here's the serve. Good strong serve back row to Grudick. She'll pass up front, and the Bears, not a great pass, so they'll just have to win it over. Rebels will try to set it up. Here sets it up just near side for Lloyd. Lloyd hits over the top, and Neal's there. Now the big hit down the line by Corey Sherman is out of bounds, and the Rebels on a little bit of a run here, leading 15-12 on the Unititle scoreboard. It's a 3-0 run right now. Here's the serve right here. Back row, pass up front. They'll set it for Grudick, who just has to tap it over. Now Peter will set it up. Here was near side. Lloyd, hit blocked by the Bears. Back, it's tipped, and around we go. Back to the Bears. So back to the Rebels. Peter will set it up again for Lloyd. Just again, Grudick will pass it up front. Here's the set. And a hit by Sherman goes into the antenna off of the Rebels. Off the Rebel block, and so the point will go to the Bears, and that ends the Rebel 4-0 run. And we'll put the serve back to Schwartz. He serves it into the net. Makes 13 on the Unititle scoreboard. The Tie Rebels will control it, and it's played out of bounds, giving the Rebels a 17-13 lead on the Unititle scoreboard. On a 6-2 run here, since we were tied at 11. Here's the serve by Lloyd, and boy, she finds the hole in between Grudick and Sherman. And Grudick reaches out one hand to try and hit it, hits it into the stands, point to the Rebels. 18-13 on the Unititle scoreboard. You're listening to a Big Old Time Edison presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KBQ 98.3 FM and online at KBQRadio.com. Time out on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well and be back in 30 seconds.
Guys are all fixed and ready to go.
Expert care for your car, so you can trust in more than just your tires.
Thanks for turning that up so I can hear the ad. Thank you. 18-13 on the U.S. title scoreboard. The Rich High Rebels on a 7-2 run here, and Lloyd back to serve for Rich High. She serves long and outside, and the point goes to the Lady Bears, making it 18-14 on the U.S. title scoreboard as Corey Sherman goes back to serve for the Lady Bears. Sherman serves from just off center to the far side, diving at everybody. Lloyd. Lamborn comes into the swing of the bleachers to keep it alive, but it's not well enough as the Rebels can't quite get it under control and over the net. Point to the Bears, 18-15 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Rebels with a 3-point lead. Sherman again to serve. Good strong jump serve. Back row. Huffner passes up front. It will set it up for Lamborn. Blocked back by the Bears. And the Rebels hit it right back over. Now to set the good block at the man. Now blocked again by Lamborn. They keep it alive. A diving effort is not going to happen. Oh, but before the Rebels couldn't lost control of it, we got a carry against the Bears. And the point will go to the Rebels. 19-15 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Rich High catches a break there because the Bears had played it nicely down the hole in the Rich defense. Both teams are kind of scrambling to just keep it alive. But a carry on the Bears gives a point to the Rebels, and now Huffner back to serve for Rich High, leading 19-15 on the U.S. title scoreboard. The net, the serve barely clears the net. I didn't think it was going to make it over, but it does, and we have an ace for Danielle Huffner. And a point for the Rebels, who lead 20-15 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Huffner to serve again. This time goes back row to Neal. Neal passes through it, just hits it over on the second hit. Pass up front. Rebels will set it up. Lamborn pushes over. Scramble. Bears don't into it. Misplayed a bit. Bears serve it. Lamborn just sets it up quickly by Lamborn. A diving effort will keep it alive, but it's into the net. 3 hits. Number 4 gets it over the net, so that'll be a point for the Rebels, and it's 22-16, and that's what those good hitters like Lamborn can do for you. With that big hit, and it gets the defense out of position as players dive to the floor to keep it alive. Acuna back to serve for the Rebels. Goes back row, pass up front, but tip over the net by Stevens. Now the Rebels pull it together. Spears with the big hit. The pass goes back over the net, and the Rebels will set it up again. Here's the hit by Tim. Blocked right back in the Rebels' face. And what a block by number 26 and number 28, Houston and Sierra Stevens. One's a junior, one's a senior, and I'm guessing they're sisters. Stevens, that's Sierra back to serve now. It's 22-17 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Rebels set it up for Lamborn with the big hit. He hammers it home, and the Rebels take a 23-17 lead. Set number 2. Rich High knocking on the door to get the victory here. Sammy Lamborn goes back to serve. Lamborn serve goes back row, pass up front. Stevens goes a long way to get the set, and they'll just hit it over. Now the Rebels will set it up. Cornea sets it up for big hit block to the back row. Lamborn is there, and the Rebels will set it up again. Here's the big hit right clear into the net, and blocked as well. Cornea sets it up again for Stevens, who just pushes it over. Brunick now with Stevens, and we're going to be called for a carry against Stevens, making it 24-17 on the U.S. title scoreboard. Rebels with set point in set number 2. The Rebels 6-10-1, 26-24. Here's Lamborn, 24-17. Strong serve, and you set handle the Rebels will win 25-17 on the Unit Title scoreboard, and the Rebels lead 2-0 in this match over the Bear Lakes Lady Bears. That's going to bring us to the end of set number 2. The Rebels get to win 25-17 on the Unit Title scoreboard. You're listening to a Big Old Time of Emerson presentation of Utah Lady Rebel Volleyball on KOPQ 98.3 FM and online at KOPQRadio.com. Back in 30 seconds.
It's the National Anniversary Show.
Thanks, Albert, with Johnny Stevens, for giving us a blow. I don't even know if
Guys are all fixed and ready to go.
Instant care for your car. So you can trust and more than just your tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Rebels get to win 25-17 in set number 2 on the Unit Title scoreboard, and the Rebels lead 2-0 in this match. First we said was a real barn burner. It was neck and neck all the way through, and the Rebels pulled out the victory 26-24. In that first set, they trailed as much as 13-7 before they went on a 12-4 run, and then it was back and forth till the Rebels won 26-24 on the Unit Title scoreboard. In the second set, a similar start to it. We were neck and neck, and neither team didn't gain any kind of an advantage more than 1 point until we were tied at 11, and the Rebels suddenly turned on the burners. Actually, we were tied at 12 when the Rebels turned it on, and the tie went on so we were tied at 12. From that point on, the Rebels went on a 13-5 run to get the victory, 25-17 in set number 2. Now, as I mentioned, in that first set, the Bears were on the north side of the gym, and the student section for the Bears was straight in front of me. In the second set, the student section shifted all the way to the south end of the gym. Now they've shifted back to the northwest end of the gym to support the Lady Bears. Meanwhile, Rich High, the Rebels, are down on the south end now, and they'll receive to start this set number 3. Madison Schwarting back to serve for the Lady Bears, and our opening serve of this set number 3 is brought to you by the station in Randolph. Randolph goes to her knees to keep it alive. Built up by Pierce block by the Bears. They'll set it up again. Pierce whipped again, tipped by the blockers, and the Bears scrambling to keep it alive and get it over the net. They'll do so, and now the Rebels will set it up. Hopper sets it to the back row. Tipped again, blocked at the line, back to the Bears, and now we're going to carry against those 2 hitters. We've got 2 hits as Cornea scrambled to come up and went off one head, then the other, and the Bears will take a 1-0 lead in set number 3. Schwarting again to serve, back row, pass up front by Brown. Now the set, here's a hit from the back, over the top, running, now the set by Stevens. Stevens hits the hit by Sherman is long, and we're tied at 1 on the Unit Title scoreboard. Checking in is Emily Hopkins for the Lady Rebels, getting some height up on that front row as her rotation comes around. Hewitt serves to the back row. Inside to the floor. Neal's got on it. Neal doing both. Tried to go down and get it, and neither one could control it. And the Rebels lead 2-1 on the Unit Title scoreboard here in set number 3. Rebels with a 2-0 lead in the match. Hewitt, the serve. Back row again, taking on Neal, and the serve receives and into the stands. And it's 3-1 Rich High Rebels on the Unit Title scoreboard. As the Bears student section really starts to get into it, makes some noise. Here's the serve by Pierce. Brunin passes up front, but nobody's there. It's not a good pass. It's right here in front of us, right in front of the scores table. And the Lady Rebels lead 4-1 on the Unit Title scoreboard. And we've got a timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well. You're listening to a Big Old Time of Emerson presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KOPQ FM 98.3 and online at KOPQRadio.com. Back in 30 seconds.
What makes this stand out in our competition? Knowledge. Certified technicians with
When we shake your hand,
Serving net for the Lady Rebels. Pass up front. Here's the hit by Sherman rather. Now the Rebels looking to control it. They put it over the top net, over the net as Lloyd hits it over. Now here's the hit by Sherman. Here's where the Rebels are there though, and Lloyd set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd the hit, tip trying to block it. Now Stevens will set it up again for Sherman. Lamborn is there. The pass up front. Here's the set, and we had a double hit once again by the Rebels. And that'll give the Lady Bears the point, 4-2 on the Watertown scoreboard here in set number 3. Rebels lead 2-0 in the match. Sherman back to serve for back row. Lamborn's pass goes back over the net. That's an easy throw for Mariah Hoover, who just jumps up and hammers it down. And it's 4-3 on the Watertown scoreboard. And Lamborn would definitely like to have that serve that receive back. She's nodding her chest saying, "That's my bad, guys. I'm sorry." Here's the serve by Sherman into the net, so the point will go to the Lady Rebels, and it's 5-3 on the Watertown scoreboard as Lloyd will go back to serve for Rich High. She serves from just off the far side. The Rebels going south to north. That's left to right from right here in this third set. Here's the set, the serve, and set by Christopher Grunick. She hits it hard. The Rebels scrambling. They get it back over the net in through, though. Stevens will set it up again right into the net, and the Rebels set 2 hits by Huffner. She tries to kick the ball in the air, and that'll go a point to the Bears. Making it 5-4 on the Watertown scoreboard. And that'll send Mariah Jr. back to serve. She'll serve from straight away, north to south, right to left from right here. Back row, Lloyd passes up front. Nice pass. So Lloyd sets it up. Big hit by Lamborn. Oh my goodness. She hammered that one home. Cross court, hits the corner. And it's 6-4 Lady Rebels on the Watertown scoreboard. And that's the strength of Cammy Lamborn. And what a great set by Peter to set Lamborn up for that big hit. Huffner back to serve for the Lady Rebels, who lead 6-4 on the Watertown scoreboard. And moments ago, our beginning serve to this third set was brought to you by the station of Randolph. Huffner serves down low, and Sherman can't control it well. She hits it out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 7-4 on the Watertown scoreboard. It's 2-0 in the match. They won the first set 26-24, won the second 25-17. Grunick's pass was over the net, and Stevens steps over the line trying to get to it, but we also had a Rebel in the net. 2 referees discussing what we're going to do. It's a double violation, I think is what they're going to call it. We had a Rebel in the net. We had a Lady Bear over that line under the net. And the referee is discussing. Now we have a substitution to add to the complication. Scoreboard still says 7-4 on the Watertown scoreboard. And Coach Wallenstein wants a clarification about her substitution here. They're going to say she can't make that substitution because now we had a double violation, and we'll give the serve back to Huffner and the Lady Rebels. Score remains 7-4 on the Watertown scoreboard. Let's go review over here for the Rebels. Huffner serve over the top. Grunick passes up front. Stevens resets for Grunick coming around from the backside. Lamborn kicks it alive. The hit. Oh, the Lamborn kicks it up high and it goes over the net. Sets it up easily for Sierra Stevens to just hit it back. And it's 7-5 on the Watertown scoreboard after the Bears get that point. Stevens will go back to serve now. And she'll serve from straight away. The running jump serve goes back row. Huffner passes up high. Pete will set it up front for Lamborn, who just pushes it into the corner on the back line. And it doesn't get any closer than that. Frankly, that looked to me like it was out, but the judge there was right on top of it, and she says it's in. So it's 8-5 Rebels on the Watertown scoreboard. That was the placement. It's just perfect for Rich High. Back to serve now is Ellen Cornea. Is Andy Cornea. The pass by the Bears goes right back over the top. Now Lamborn just pushes it over the blockers and into a hole, and it's 9-5. The Rebels seeming to find a stride here. They found it that appeared about midway through that first set, and they are doing well. Here's the serve by Cornell up over the top. Neal passes up front, and the Bears just have to hit it over. Nothing set up for their like this. Now the Rebels set it up pretty good by Beard, and now to the point, 10-5. Rebels with the lead on the Watertown scoreboard. Rich High went on a 12-4 run about midway through that first set, and they kind of haven't looked back. They kept it going. Tony of the service again. Back row Neal passes up front. Stevens just tips it over, almost catches the Rebels unaware. Now the Rebels will set it up, and Lamborn pushes it across right into the hands of the blockers, but it's kind of ricochets off their hands and out of bounds. Point to the Rebels. It's 11-5. Again, the serve by Cornell. Back row, Neal and Stevens just set it up. Brunig will pass it over the top. Now the set for Lamborn, and she just pushes it over into a hole. Looks like she's going up to hammer it home, and she just pushes it over, places it in a hole in the defense, and it's 12-5. Lady Rebels with the lead here. It was 5-4. Not long ago, the Rebels on a run. 20 of the serve again. Pass up front for Stevens. Back set for Brunig, and a big block by the Rebels. It's 13-5 on the Uinta scoreboard. They blocked it right back into the court of the Bears, and boy, Coach Stewart loves that one. She got up off her feet and was clapping after that good hit. Now the hit by the Bear Lake Lady Bears. We have a Rebel in the net trying to go up for the block, so that'll end that bit of a run. It was 7-5. The Rebels went on a 6-0 run there, but it's 13-6 now on the Uinta scoreboard. And Brianna Brunig will get back to serve. She'll serve from this side, going right to left, north to south from my view. Brunig has to go to her knees to receive that. Now the Rebels scramble, and they shoot it up over the net. Stevens sets it up a back serve, or back set, and a hit by Stevens. And now the Rebels will set it up. Big hit by Lamborn. Neal keeps it alive, but not in play. And it's 14-6. Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard as Kenny Lamborn goes back to serve for Rich High. She'll serve from the near side, going left to right from my view. Big jump serve, going back row to Neal. They're not a good serve receive. She just reaches out one hand, didn't even move her feet, and it's into the stands right there at her student section. And it's a point to the Rebels, who lead 15-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lamborn to serve again, looking on Neal. She'll pass a little bit better this time. Stevens sets it up. This side for Sherman. And she'll get a good lift, but the Rebels control it. Neal pushes over, almost like a hold of Neal. Plays it. Here's the pass. This pass, and then he was set by Rick to the back row, and it's on that back line. A nicely placed hit by Kylie Worcester, and that makes it 15-7. Goes with the point on the Uinta scoreboard, and Alicia Neal will go back to serve for the Lady Bears. Rebels lead 2-0 in the match, and 15-7 in this third set on the Uinta scoreboard. Great Lamborn died now, and it shows on the Uinta scoreboard 23-8. Good serve to the back row. Good pass up front. Stevens, but it's blocked by the Rebels. Blocked up good strong out of bounds, and the point that goes to the Bears. So good block by the Rebels, but a good strong hit by Mariah Kruger. And it's blocked off the Rebels and out of bounds, making it 23-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. As Haley Simpson will go back to serve for the Lady Bears. Now some miscommunication between Brown and Lamborn. They both hit it. They both hit it out of bounds. They get it 23-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. The Lamborn out there giving some encouragement, saying, let's not end it, let's not give up just yet, guys. We got to play it and finish this match. Here's the serve. It's long. Rebels pull it together and hit it over the top. Now the set. Here's the set. Brunig with the rip. Lamborn on the back row. This one's pass up front by Moore. It's a back row to Neal. Pass up front. Nice play by Stevens and a trick. And a beautiful hit by Hilger. Not a lot of power on it, but perfectly placed into a hole in the defense. And the Bears, well, they're not giving up. They're trying to run back into this one. They're on a 4-0 run here. Rebels, here's the pass it to Lloyd. Lloyd to the rip, and not a lot on it. Now a beautifully placed ball, no, just out of bounds. As Sierra Stevens tried to do that. She's the setter and tried to again just set it over the top and over her head and throw the Rebels, but she serves it out of bounds, or sets it out of bounds. Now the serve by Lloyd, just a bit long, barely over the line, and boy, that's as close as it gets to being out of play, or out of bounds right there, making it 24-12 on the Unitarian scoreboard. Here's the serve, and it's out of bounds, not a good serve by Maria Jr., and that's the match. The Riptide Rebels win 25-12 on the Unitarian scoreboard. You hate to see one end like that, but you love to see the victory. 25-12. That first set, it was a barn burner, and the Rebels just improved and won by more and more in the second and third sets. Again, 25-12 in the third set. Rebels get the victory and win 3-0 on the Unitarian scoreboard. That's the end of the third set. You're listening to a Big Old Tigers of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM and online at KABQradio.com. We'll take a break, and we'll be back in a minute with our post-game show after this on KABQ.
Online,
Gas prices on the rise. Save yourself a trip to the big city and stop at
So drop down to the end of that, and well, we're already just keep rotating through the ad in the order that they're in, but we'll do 1 minute breaks with each one.
Was giving us some love.
Welcome back to Big Old Tigers with Evanston, the presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KABQ FM 93.3, and you can watch these games online at KABQradio.com. We have the streaming going, and the video streaming, so that's a good opportunity to see Rich play. When you can come to the game, you can watch it online at KABQradio.com, and of course listen to it live here on 98.3 FM KABQ as well. Welcome. It's time for the post-game show. We'll take a look back at tonight's match. Hopefully we'll visit with Coach Cindy Stewart. I've talked with her and hope she remembers to come up and chat with me in our post-game show. And we'll take a look ahead at what's in store for our Rebels as well. So in this portion of the post-game show, let's take a look at some of the highlights of tonight's match and some stats. And boy, what a barn burner we had in the first set. And I thought it was going to be that way through the entire match, but the Rebels really kind of found their groove and turned it on. In the first set, it was back and forth. Neither team could gain much of an advantage until the Bears went on an 8-2 run. We were tied at 5, and then Bear Lake went on an 8-2 run, made it 13-7. But then the Rebels took a timeout, and whatever it was that Coach Stewart said to her team, it did the trick, because from that point on, I mean, that was a turning point in the entire match, not just in that first set. Rebels went on a 12-4 run, took a 20-17 lead, and then held to that lead and earned the victory 26-24 in the first set on the Unitarian scoreboard. Second set was close until the Rebels, again, they got to a point where we were tied at 11, and Rebels just turned something on. They switched gears and went on a 13-5 run that actually ended with a victory 25-17 in set 2 on the Unitarian scoreboard. That gave the Rebels a 2-0 lead in the match. In set 3, it was close until 5-4. It was 5-4 at one point. The Rebels had that narrow lead, and then all of a sudden they just turned it on. And at that point, it was all Rebels. 15-3 run, made it 20-7. And at that point, you could see the attitude, you could see the shoulders of the Bear Lake Lady Bears almost drop a little bit, and that was basically it. The Rebels went on to win 25-12 on the Unitado scoreboard and get the victory 3-0 in this match. So with that victory, the Rebels improved to 3-4 on the season, and they get back into region play tomorrow night against Duchesne. I'm trying to get Coach Cindy Stewart's attention over here. She's down talking about, 10 yards away from me, but I don't know. We'll keep trying to get her attention for a post-game interview, and have a chat with her about tonight's game. Our starting lineups tonight were brought to you by Stacy's Repair and Woodruff. Our beginning serve of each set was brought to you by the station in Randolph, and our school board sponsor tonight. You win a title. Again, Rebels get to win 26-24 in set 1, 25-17 in set 2, 25-12 in set 3. And you see, as evenly matched as the two teams were in the first set, the Rebels just came up with something and pulled it together. Maybe it's that little bit of extra experience and leadership out of the team, and maybe a little bit of coaching as well. You see, as successful as the Rebels have been over the past few years, you got to know that there's some good coaching on the sideline from Coach Cindy Stewart. We'll see if she can join us here for a post-game interview. But yeah, the Rebels 26-24 in the first set, 25-17 in set 2, and they just kept getting better as they won set 3, 25-12. You're listening to a Big Old Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KABQ-FM 98.3 and online at KABQRadio.com. And stay tuned. I'm still trying to get Coach Cindy Stewart's attention, see if we need to get into the habit of just remembering to come up here after the game, after the match, and have a chat with us. Stay tuned, and we'll come back with our post-game visit, I hope, with head coach Cindy Stewart. You're listening to the post-game show. Again, the final score on the Unitado scoreboard, 25-12 in that third set. Rebels took the second set, 25-17, 26-24 in the first set, and win 3-0. And this is a Big Old Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM and online at KABQRadio.com. Back in a minute here on KABQ.
Mine's on electronic stability testing was giving us a blow.
They're all fixed and ready to
Starting to shout. Welcome back to a Big Old Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM and online at KABQRadio.com. And it's a busy scene out here on the court after this 3-0 victory for the Lady Rebels. 3-0 on the Unitado scoreboard. They win set 1, 26-24, take set 2, 25-17, and set 3, 25-12. And it's almost like a reunion out there for Coach Stewart. She's catching up with what I would assume is a former player, former student, and looks to be newborn baby, and just catching up with a lot of her fans and other community members from Rich County. We'll see if I can get her attention. We'll keep trying to just get her up here for a post-game interview. And again, you're listening to Big Old Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM. And again, you can watch the games online, the video streaming online at KABQRadio.com. And on the winning title scoreboard tonight, Rebels looking to win in set one. It was a real barn burner, real close, 26-24. Second set, 25-17. Third set, 25-12. Along we wait and see if we can get Coach Seuss's attention here for a post-game interview. Let's move ahead and take a look at Rebel sports and activities. Here on a Big Oak Ties with Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM and online at KABQradio.com. Coming up next for the Lady Rebels is tomorrow night as they'll return home and return into each play to host Duchesne, the Lady Eagles. And with the sophomores, freshman sophomores set to tip off at 4 o'clock, JVs at 5, and the varsity is scheduled for 6 p.m. tomorrow night. So our pregame coverage tomorrow night will begin at 5:30. Match set to tip off and begin at 6 o'clock tomorrow night as the Lady Rebels host the Duchesne Lady Eagles. Now the Rebels won't be in action again until next Saturday, the 21st of September, against hosting Lyman, and that'll be at 6 o'clock, and we'll have it here on KABQ as well. As for the Rich High football team, it's at Mountain Crest this Saturday. Now the sophomores were at Star Valley tonight, and the varsity team will be at Mountain Crest this Saturday, take on the Mountain Crest JV team, and the scheduled time for our pregame is 1:20 this Saturday afternoon. Kickoff is scheduled for 2 p.m. at Mountain Crest this Saturday, so make sure to tune in for that. Rich High Rebel football here on KABQ. Now, as we look at the Rich School District calendar of events coming up, there's not much else on there other than the sports that I've mentioned to you. As we do also have an initial Rich Middle School football will be in action tomorrow. They'll play a big party at 3:30 p.m. And Rich Middle School volleyball in action tomorrow as well against Mountain View at 3 p.m. at Rich Middle School. And then Saturday, Rich Middle School volleyball team back at it at Star Valley. So that's Saturday morning at 10 a.m. actually. Looking ahead to next week and some of the activities. It's Leo on Wheels. That's in the Rich Middle School gym on Monday at 1 p.m. There's a board meeting from 6 to 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And then next week, Rich Middle School football will be at Kemmer at 4:30 on Thursday. Next week's varsity football game will be hosting Milford. So that's a look ahead, a week ahead for Rich High School sports, Rich Rebel sports, and our sports update here on KABQ. This is a Big Oak Time Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM and online at KABQradio.com. Still trying to get Coach Stewart's attention up here to have a post-game interview. We may have to give up on this for tonight and try to catch her next time, which is not too far away. Again, it's tomorrow night as the Rebels will host Duchesne. Let's take one more quick break, and we'll be back so we can get Coach Stewart's attention for a post-game interview. You're listening to a Big Oak Time Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM and online at KABQradio.com. Back in 1 minute.
This is time dropping the cover voice past Secretary Jack Special. Don't lose time driving extra miles from your dental services.
Don't lose time driving extra miles. My dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and
all of these services are available from the specialists right here in Evanston.
Specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to and associates. Call today to schedule a call at 307-785-660. That's 307-785-660.
Gas prices on the rise.
Cowboy Motor Company.
Welcome back to our Lady Rebel post-game coaches show, and tonight we're talking with Coach Cindy Stewart, head coach of the Rich High Rebels. And Coach, how did you feel? I was that first set was a real barn burner, and then you were real close. It was just neck and neck, and then you took a timeout, They were ahead by 5 or 6 points. I think it was 13-7 at that point. You took a timeout. What did you say to the girls? It was just like a different match from then on.
Well, before that timeout, we were all over the place. We were, you know, the girls were really excited for this match, and they were playing on nerves. So after that timeout, I said, you just got to calm down and play even. We're trying to get them to play even instead of really high or really low. We're not pitching the ten, and somebody had that crowd over there. I was afraid they were going to really get in their head, so I just said, no, just calm down and play smooth and even. They did. They came out and they really did.
They really did, and then went on a good run. It was close, and how did you feel about overall how you played from that point on?
No, I thought we did some great things. We're trying to 6-2 out, and there's only one period. She came in and she played back row, and she could play front row, so she's catching a lot of balls, which she's got a lot of athleticism, and she's small and quick, and I think she's going to be the big difference in our season, because she can do that now, you know.
Yeah.
And then Tammy, we got her hitting out the middle more than we've ever had anybody, and she just sees the court so well. She can put it anywhere she wants, Sunday morning, so she had her way with them.
And I was impressed, you know, at times we saw some real power out of her, and other times she'd see the cord, like you say, and then find a spot and just tip it over and find that hole.
Yeah. And she can do that out of the middle, and she sees the court better than many players I've ever had. And so we got her running out of the middle, and they can do that when Ellen's down center. So this works pretty well. She's a great little player.
And in that second match, the second set, you guys went on a run, you got a little bit of a lead, and it almost is like suddenly the pressure was off and they looked a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, they were doing, you know, kids that we were hoping to play. Danielle Huffner, our senior right side girl, that's a hard spot for her to pass as a big girl. She never had to do that. So we've been waiting to see if she could do it. She passed 3 great balls, and she scored several points. I don't know, Danielle Huffner. And so I'm so happy for her. So we do have some holes in our offense, but the kids got the girls that stepped up where they need to play.
Well, congratulations on a great win tonight. Tomorrow you've got Shane back at home. So tell us a little bit about that match coming up.
They are a region match, and I don't know how they'll be. They've been coming to camps quite a bit, so they, you know, all the other region opponents, they usually give us the most trouble. It's the biggest they could. All region is not real strong, but you know, you never say, don't worry.
Right. Well, congratulations on a good win tonight. Thanks for coming up to chat with me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks
It was really fun. Fun match. All right. Well, that was head coach Cindy Stewart of the Rich High Lady Rebels here on your post-game show, and this is a Big O Time Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KABQ 98.3 FM, and you can watch the games online at KABQradio.com. Well, this has been our post-game show, and the Lady Rebels post-game show has been a sports production and sports broadcast of Old West Media Incorporated and Cook Brothers Broadcasting. No portion of this production can be used or rebroadcast without express written consent of Old West Media Incorporated. Now, for my producers back in the studio, we're going to be playing our closing outro, our game outro here in just a bit. So if you can get that queued up, we'll tell you once again our final score tonight. If you want to tell the scoreboard, Rich High Rebels win 3-0 over the Bear Lake Lady Bears. 26-24 in set 1, 25-17 in set 2, and they turned it on in set 3, 25-12, the victory there. Join us again tomorrow night, pregame at 5:30 and first serve at 6 o'clock as the Rebels host the Duchesne Lady Eagles, and that'll be at Rich High School in Randolph. We'll have it on the air with pregame at 5:30, tip-off at 6 o'clock. Until then, go Rebels.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, this is, who am I talking with?
We are Chevrolet. I am the Zenko specialist. Lucky now.